So welcome back to part 3 of my Canada holidays video. So in this video we head back to Canmore for a few more nights and we complete some more substantial walks in that time, including one overnight stay in a very special lodge. So this is pretty much the town centre of Jasper. We've got Athabasca Hotel over here, we've got the main street over here, and in here is where we're going. This is a restaurant called Smitty's and they do very good Canadian breakfasts. So we'll go and take a look inside and enjoy our traditional Canadian breakfast. So traditional Canadian breakfast and a spinach omelette breakfast. What do you think?
Yum yum.
Yum yum. Well, back to the car. This is our last morning in Jasper. So we are heading back to Banff National Park now. But we'll be stopping along the way in various locations. After 4 nights in Jasper, we were back in the car after a hearty breakfast and we were heading back down Highway 93. Now this was a journey which took about 5 hours from Jasper to Canmore, and in the middle we stopped at Bow Summit to have a look at a very popular viewpoint called Peyto Lake. So here we are at Peyto Lake. We've taken a 3-hour drive so far from Jasper. And we need a small break, so we just thought we'd stop here. It is a very busy and popular place, but it's a famous lake. It's shaped like a wolf's head, and it's coloured turquoise with all the glacial meltwater. Now if we go over this way, you can see the glacier through the trees, which feeds it a bit. So after Peyto Lake, we continued down Highway 93 in glorious sunshine, but once we reached Canmore, the clouds were building up with some heavy showers about. So today we are climbing Pigeon Mountain. At 2,411 metres, Pigeon Mountain lies just east of Canmore. You can access it from the Dead Man's Flats junction, and you've got about 1,000 metres of ascent from the car park. The way up follows a track, and the gradient is initially quite gentle, right up until the point where the track starts to zigzag. And then once we have gone up a little bit, we then take a steeper path which branches off to the left, and it soon clears the tree line. Here we are, emerging from the trees into open grassland. So, open grassland. Got this slope to walk up. Looks like a fairly decent footpath. Fairly sultry day. 23 degrees down in the valleys, high humidity. Lots of knobbly grass mounds. And this is where we're going. This is the actual summit. Okay, so we're on the ridge now. And definitely a storm brewing to the north. So here we are. Summit of Pigeon Mountain. So 2,411 metres high, according to my map. It's a good view. And I can hear crashing and banging coming from this direction. That's where the next thunderstorm is brewing. But this one over here, that one looks quite menacing, but I'm fairly confident that one is passing to the north of us and that's not going to hit us at all. So we are on our way down Pigeon Mountain. We've just departed from the ridge. This is what we've got. It's quite ominous looking in that direction. Just beyond the Three Sisters of Canmore, we've got another thunderstorm brewing. Okay, so we've got some rain on those mountains over there, and we've got this meadow to drop down. Well, I think we are quite lucky. The thunderstorms passed to the south of us, and although we've heard frequent thunderclaps, I haven't seen any lightning bolts. Right, nearly back in the forest.
So that's good.
That's very good. Well, by a remarkable stroke of luck, we've managed to get back to the car park and not get wet at all. So here we are, just enjoying an evening walk after din-dins. Okay, so we are at the west end of the railway crossing, so I think we're just gonna, what do you think, cross over?
I think we'll go up there, that way, I think.
Go over this way.
Look at these,
The little wagons. It's a little piece of heritage coming into Canmore from the west. So lots of Colombian ground squirrels all here. You know what? I think they sound like pedestrian walkway sounds you get in various European countries. Well, here we are back on Highway 1 the next day, and we are heading to Lake Louise Village. We're not going to Lake Louise Lakeshore. What we're doing in Lake Louise Village is that we are checking in to a lodge. This is a backcountry lodge called Skoki Lodge. So this is where you go to check in. It's called Experience Lake Louise. They handle all the checking in for Skoki Lodge. So all through Lake Louise there's paid parking, but in the village centre itself it's free parking, but it's limited to 2 hours. And that's more than sufficient if you just want to get some snacks and things from one of the various shops here. So here we are at the parking area for Skoki Lodge. What will happen is that a minibus will take us up 4 kilometres to the actual start of the walk. So this is the bus which takes us to Skoki Lodge trailhead. So we took the bus up about 4 kilometres up the road, and this is what we hike up. So we've got quite a few guests for Skoki Lodge who are on this minibus. So now the forest is starting to thin out and open up. So we've made a bit of elevation gain, and we're coming up to Boulder Pass. Still quite a few trees about, but we'll get there quite soon. Still some more uphill. Let's see where we come from. Isn't that nice? Yes, very nice. So, what have we got over this pass summit? We should have Ptarmigan Lake, considering Ptarmigan Peak is to the left of us. That's Ptarmigan Peak. So up ahead we've got Ptarmigan Lake, which looks very idyllic, really. I think it's a good spot for a spot of food. So Ptarmigan Lake, it's not really a pass, it's more just the end of a bit of uphill. Now it's a bit more level, and we've got this very thin woodland, no trees no more than about 6 meters tall, and it's such a pretty place, Ptarmigan Lake. It's very, very delightful. Just saw a bald eagle up ahead, heard a few peakers, and plenty of marmots around here as well. So we are on approach to Deception Pass. We're not there on final approach just yet. In the background we've got Fossil Mountain, and then we can scroll around, have a look at the panorama. We've got Ptarmigan Lake here, and this place is just absolutely gorgeous on a day like today. So, nearly at the top of Deception Pass. Where are we? Let's have a look. Mr. Marmot over here. Getting there. Coming into view. We have got Skoki Valley down beneath us. We've got a little peak over here. That one, Skoki Mountain. Some rather magnificent mountain tops over here. And then some mountains in the distance I don't know the name of. What do you think of the Roo?
Lovely.
Lovely.
So we're having lunch.
That's a good question. Let's have some lunch.
We are.
So as we drop down from Deception Pass, this view to the west reveals a glacier. Seems to be still in operation in terms of having a bit of a blue tint to it and probably flowing as well, but definitely receding. A lot of glacial moraine there, and it seems to be receding back. So we're about to descend into thicker sections of forest. Skoki Mountain, just a bit further down the valley, quite steep, direct from Skoki Lodge. So looking back to where we came, got a small clearing in the forest, and now we head on our continuing journey.
There's an animal around there.
1 kilometre to Skoki Lodge. After a long walk up and over the mountains and through the woods, we finally get to Skoki Lodge. Built in the 1930s. Looks like it's got a cedar wood rooftop, which I find quite interesting. We don't normally see wooden rooftops in Scotland, but my understanding is cedar wood is a very waterproof material. Looks very civilized, I have to say, and they've got some solar panels in the back, so of course the geek in me will probably want to explore that further. So this is the dining room. And then the kitchen. So we are now checked in, and we are in the top floor in this room, Deception. So here we have a lovely cabin, would you say?
Yes.
Or room? I'm not too sure, but it's not much light, but it's very cozy. So there's no electricity, but we do have USB powered lanterns. Now, as I mentioned, we do have solar power in the back, so they just charge these things up off something else. What you will see, we do have smoke alarms, so they do have to have some modern things, but light socket here, not used. And the reason that's not used is because this building is a protected building. It's much like the British listed building policy. Parks Canada basically says you have to keep this building in its original form. And you know, that's one of the reasons why we like to come here, isn't it, Rachel?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Right, we'll do a bit of exploration later on. So this is the heart and soul of the place.
Welcome, welcome.
Yes, and it's roasting hot in here. So you're on propane gas or wood burning?
Propane.
Propane gas,
Propane.
okay. Yeah, so it just feels like there's a lot of heat in here. Is it just the boiler, or is it just all the hot water you've got here?
Boiling water all hours.
Yeah,
of the day.
all hours of the day, basically.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, we're constantly boiling water here and treating it.
I do like pot racks and a roof, and it's good.
I want to see our solar array.
Yes, please.
Awesome.
Let's have a look.
Love it.
So this is our shop.
Okay.
To the right.
So it looks like 3 panels. They're 300 watts a panel, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So that looks like you're running your fridge freezer off that, I'm guessing.
No, fridge freezer are also propane.
Oh, they're also. How on earth do you run a fridge freezer off
They're
propane?
special fridge freezers.
Oh my
This
goodness.
is our cold storage area.
Okay.
And Chris, can you go talk to that guest, please? Thank you.
Okay.
But yeah, you can get propane fridges and propane freezers.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that's like our pilot igniter and everything.
Okay.
This is what we use to get water from the creek. It's a big water pump.
Okay.
And all of the food and supplies come in by helicopter.
They're coming by helicopter.
Helicopter. Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's going to be quite expensive transportation.
Yeah, expensive linen delivery service. But believe it or not, they are cheaper and more convenient than horse packing.
Yes.
You need a lot of horses to do what one helicopter can do.
So, in the North Sea,
Okay.
there are trials going on
Yeah.
with drones shipping materials from one oil platform to another.
Oh, okay.
So the question is, do you reckon drones could be used in the future to ship materials in here?
I guess like theoretically,
Yes.
it's possible. I guess it'd just be like, yeah, load capacity would be the big thing.
Yeah, I
Right?
think
And
so.
you could get a load capacity the same size as a heli.
Yep.
Because we use the helicopters to ship the propane tanks
Okay.
as well.
Where does the chopper land, or does it just airdrop it?
Kind of in between these two cabins over here, and it lands on Tuesdays.
Oh, okay. All right.
Tuesdays is fly day. Yeah,
So that's like a jet ranger, is it?
something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, a bigger one. Because they bring in, so every season we do one fly day.
Okay.
We bring in 22 of
Yes.
these 500-pound propane tanks.
Okay.
And this is what will go through in a season.
Okay.
So it's a lot of propane.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of propane. The electrical really just does a few things, like a couple of light bulbs.
Yep.
There's a speaker in the kitchen. It's like crucial stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, and then in our shop, which is messy, but you
Yes.
can put it online. It's the real Skoki.
Okay.
But this is where our batteries are. So
Ah.
this is the actual panel
Okay.
for the solar. And on days when there's not enough sun, especially in the winter, we get like
Yep.
5 hours of sunlight in this valley
Okay.
in December.
Yep.
We'll bulk charge the batteries using a generator.
Okay.
And then these are all of our batteries. We have 2 rows of 8.
Okay. These are lead acid by the looks of things, rather
Yes.
than
not
lithium ion.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
not lithium-ion.
Okay.
They're a little bit older school.
Okay.
now, so
It's interesting to see how off-grid works in this day and
it
age.
does. Yeah.
But yeah,
So do you work in solar then?
I have a 9 kilowatt solar panel array up in Aberdeenshire in Scotland.
You're Scottish.
Well, I'm English, but
English.
I
Oh,
live
okay.
in
Sorry,
in
I just
Scotland.
spent a couple weeks in
Yes.
Scotland with a
Yes.
friend. A friend lives in Glasgow.
So following a footpath on our little evening stroll, we come to a genuine fork in the path. Isn't that good? I've never seen a genuine fork like that. So here we are on the footpath, signposted to Merlin Lake. We're just on a wee evening trip. We haven't walked too far, but we've come across this open slope. We've got this mountain up here. We've got some meadows down there. Back across the bridge to Skoki Lodge. So this is what we get when we arrive at the lodge, and we got this served about 5 o'clock. You can get it served earlier, but we went for the walk. It's quite nice little cheese board, I say.
Lovely.
Yes. There we go.
And I'm not
Starters.
a very good cross-country skier.
Bedding time, Rachel.
Great.
What's that?
Right,
see me?
Anthony,
Yes.
we have been in Canada
Yes.
and we've seen these chairs. Most of the places are red,
Yes.
and like tourist places,
Yes.
but we've now seen them here. What do you think of them, and are they comfy for your back?
They are supremely comfortable, and one of the things I would say is that there's no lumbar support, but it's a straight back, and I find that you could probably sit in these for hours and you'd be comfortable when you get up.
Coolio.
But the thing is that I've not seen these in the United Kingdom,
Yeah.
and one of the things I want are drawings for how to make these chairs, so
Yeah,
I can
I
make
think
some
you-
myself.
I think we'd have to make them because they don't have them in the United Kingdom.
Yes, I
So-
don't think you can buy these in the United
No,
Kingdom.
I don't think you can.
No. So Canada has got the best chairs for outdoors I've ever
Defo.
seen.
Defo.
Well, good morning. It's been one night at the Skoki Lodge, and it's been a wonderful evening. Lovely food, lovely breakfast. But now it's time to head off and go back to the car park and on to our next adventures. So we attempted a different way back. This route is called Packers Pass rather than Deception Pass. And what we found very quickly beneath the first lake was that scrambling was required. What I thought there was a way around the scrambling route off to the left, but that route did not materialise. And what we ended up doing is bushwhacking through the forest to get back up to Deception Pass. Now, if you are not very good with scrambling, I would definitely not recommend you take the Packers Pass route. It is quite steep beneath that first lake, and I'm told there is more scrambling beyond as well. So from the Packers Pass path, we bushwhacked through some relatively thick forest to get to the Deception Pass footpath. So back up and over Deception Pass, and now we've got Ptarmigan Lake back in view again. So that was one night that we had at Skoki Lodge. And Rachel, you think 2 nights would have been better?
Yes, and that's what I thought you had booked.
Okay. Now it's quite expensive, but it does include food.
All food.
All the food. It's and that includes your lunch pack, and that's very good. But one of the thoughts I've been having is that you can make it a really good value proposition, because when you're there, you don't need to have a hire car, and hire cars these days are quite expensive. And the thing about Lake Louise is that there are bus services which take you from Calgary Airport to Banff, and you've got I think it's an hourly bus service from Banff to Lake Louise. So it is possible to do this kind of location without needing to pay for a hire car, and that's that definitely makes it a value proposition. What do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But there's one question, Rachel.
Yes.
Are we going to be back?
Yes. Definitely.
So this is known as Halfway Hut, and actually from the point where the minibus drops you off, it's a third of the way along. It's not actually halfway. It's only halfway when you consider the walking distance from a publicly accessible location. And here we are. It's literally just a day use hut. Ptarmigan hut, yes. Just a day use hut. Could be useful if there's a thunderstorm, so very nice. Okay, so almost at the end of the trailhead. So, last time in the Rocky Mountains, Time for one last finale. Okay, so here we are, Highway 742, about to hit the gravel one last time for one final adventure up into K country. Back on this gravel road for the last time for our last adventure in Kannanaskis, K country.
Amazing.
That's nice. Not bad for a last day. So we're on Highwood Pass. This is, I think, the highest road in the Rocky Mountains, the Canadian Rocky Mountains. About 2,200-ish meters above sea level. What we're going to do today is Pocaterra Ridge. So it'll be a grand finale. It's going to be about 2,700 meters. So it's much akin to climbing a Munro from the top of Glen Shee. A bit more effort, but you get stunning views from the top. So this is where the cirque for Pocaterra starts to open up.
Oh, we've lost the lady.
Yes. So you see these brown gorged out bits of earth, and these are all avalanches. And have a look at the other side over here. You can see the trees have all been taken down by the avalanches from higher up. So we have got bear prints here. You can see them here. They're fresh. And there were sightings of a bear by a party which came up earlier. So we're very mindful to just be cautious about bears. There are several other parties on this footpath in front of us though. This is the main route up to Pocaterra Ridge. So very green. This is pretty much the last meadow in the forest. And here we've got, I think this is Highwood Summit. So this is the way up to Pocaterra Ridge. So I think this is the summit. I really hope. It's been quite a slog coming up here. Yes it is. Here we are. Summit of Pocaterra Ridge. Now, if you have a car at the other end, in theory it should be possible to walk the entire ridge down to the other end. But look at this view. This is magnificent. So we're at 2,667 meters. One of the things you can see here, lots of rubble in the valley. I think what we've got is glacial moraine. Basically the entire glacier melted and left all this moraine behind, but it must have been some time ago because there are some trees growing there. And finally we've got Highwood Summit, 2,900 meters, a bit of a mountaineering ascent from this direction. One of the things I will say is that coming down this footpath is trickier than going up. It's quite loose and the gradient is such that you're on occasion you're right on the limit of what your grip can support for your boots. So I wouldn't recommend doing this in wet conditions. We're now down beneath the scree slopes on the edge of the woodland. So we're in the last section of forest before the footpath opens out onto meadows before the car park. It's steep ground. It doesn't feel steep when it's dry, but you've got mud, you've got roots, and when it starts raining, this stuff on the way out was really quite treacherous, very slippery. So we managed to avoid another thunderstorm. We were in the forest anyway, no rain, but you can see further this way that the rain's missed us to the south. There's some quite impressive claps of thunder. Well, back to the car park. So, time for a trip down to Calgary. So we've got a tornado warning. I've never seen one of those on my phone, but here we are on Highway 40, about to enter Highway 1 in just a moment. We're on Highway 1 heading towards Calgary. We're just leaving the Rocky Mountains. We've got a proper cumulonimbus cloud, anvil shaped cloud dead ahead of us over Calgary right now, and the report is that there is a tornado to the south of Calgary and also to the southeast of Calgary. I'm thinking it's probably from this thunderstorm, but from what I saw on the weather radar when I was at Kannanaskis Visitor Centre, there are a few more thunderclouds. There's one further to the right, which I can see, and that's developing. So very interesting weather right now. Well, gonna have to say, this is nice and easy. Just put a credit card, swipe it, select your grade, take out the nozzle, fill up, nice and easy. That's how all electric car chargers should be. Straight from the mountain into the airport hotel. What's the first thing to do? This. And now I can enjoy a cup of tea watching the planes. Look at this, what a wonderful view. The next day we're heading back to Edinburgh after 2 weeks and a day in Canada. Sadly, the flight home represents the end of our holiday. But one thing I should actually add in this discussion is the question of other journeys which you can take from Calgary to Edinburgh. There is WestJet, and they do direct flights to Edinburgh from Calgary 3 times a week from May until October. I'm sure they'll be back in 2024, and I think it's definitely an option that we will consider next time we go to Calgary. On final approach into Scotland, it struck me just how green and bonny our own country really is. It was very much a great welcome to have back home here. Here we are, car sweet car in Edinburgh Airport, and it's nice and breezy, just the way we like it. What do you say, Rachel?
Yes, definitely. Back in Scotland.
Right, back in the car. It's lost 2% charge over the course of 2 weeks, and I think that's excellent. But the brakes sound a bit like they need a bit of exercise. Right, let's go home. Navigate home. We touched down at 6:20, but it took nearly 2 hours to get to our car. Sadly, Edinburgh Airport isn't the fastest place in the world. Nonetheless, the journey from Calgary to Edinburgh took about 12 hours all told. I was heavily jet lagged and my body was telling me it was 12 o'clock at night time or thereabouts. So we were very glad to get back home. So I hope you found this trio of videos very interesting to watch. I had a great deal of fun making these videos and having a holiday. But there are 2 more videos coming up. One is going to be talking about the wildlife, and the other one is a very special video which is a bit more geeky. So until next time, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you again very soon.